Hey guys, FilthyRobot here. Just taking a look at the new Age of Wonders 4 Wyvern update, which is the first balance patch we're going to see. So let's take a look. So, added a new faction, or a new create faction tool. That's super nice. You used to have to go in through the game creation first, so this is just a shortcut to creating factions. We do this all the time in this game, so that's really nice. Added a random ruler generator. It seems entirely useless. Oh, for the customization? That's fine. That's a nice little thing. I take it back. Not useless, just kind of nice. But not impactful, right? All right. New body traits. Poisonous form. That's cool. I don't mind seeing new traits added. I wish they'd balance the old traits, but maybe they'll do that a little bit later. This one seems okay. Blight resistance is not that great, but it's fine. And returning melee, poisoning melee attackers. This is okay on like the race. It's pretty useless on the ruler, but it's okay on the race. So maybe that's interesting. Maybe like the super defensive stacked rulers can take advantage of it too. It just seems like a pretty medium trait. I can't remember if body or mind is the top one. I think it's the top one. If this is true, this is up against some really, really powerful ones, so probably never gets picked, but you know, it's still nice to have the option, I suppose, if they ever balance them. A new society trait, that's kind of big, isn't it? Just one new society? Aren't they totally even right now in terms of each faction has, each materium has like 4? So they're just adding 1. So there's going to be 5, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, or whatever it is. It's kind of weird. Gain a tier 2 or tier 3 item after clearing an ancient wonder infestation. This is really strong. Ancient wonders are really easy to clear right now. Same with infestations, and you're already incentivized to do them because infestations and ancient wonders already give incredible loot. This is now even stronger incredible loot. And gain extra mana for unequipped hero items in your inventory and start with 2 random hero items. That sounds really nice too. Oh, maybe this was a modification. Wasn't there some useless one already? But I don't think it was called Artifact Hoarders. I'm pretty sure this is a new one. Anyway. Okay. I don't like that. I love additional society traits. This sounds really strong for doing something you're already doing. Already problematic snowballing with heroes, so this is going to be more of that. We'll have to see exactly the impact of that. That sounds pretty good to me, first read. All right, looking past. New events. Okay. Further explore the history of my ruler with origin events. I already don't like events. They're not targeted well. Like, it's kind of fun to have the things happen and some other pop-up to engage with, but movement is kind of fucked in this game. Like the positioning, the position you spend your, how do I say this? The movement path you take is already pretty necessary to optimize, right? You're trying to race experience and race items, clear the most important areas, get your settlements going, etc. The quests throw out mobs in random locations, and it's not often in line with the things you're doing already. The quest rewards are pretty big, so you tend to need to run those down. And splitting forces is okay, but a lot of the things that they want you to do when you split is to fight at both locations, so splitting can be a little bit harder there. I don't like it when I spend all this effort to optimize my path, clear back first, then move forward so I can get this expansion down, liberate this infestation, clear this wonder, and then move into fight my opponent or to claim some other space, and then a quest spawns in the back of my base all the way in the other direction. I have to go all the way back. So I like the events. I just wish the events were a little bit more interactive with the rest of the strategy that you're employing. Underground resources. Excavating diggable earth can uncover resource nodes and magic materials alongside pickups in the occasional marauding army. This is good. Digging was really weak. Prospecting on the Industrial Society was really good, but digging was super weak. And the biggest problem was you'd uncover something with your scout, which was not attached to an army, and it would be something like a marauding army. And that marauding army would come harass your city that the scout might be near, or pillage your improvements, or kill your scout, and you're just like, well, what the hell did I invest in something and spend time doing something, and all it's going to do is kill my unit off. Really what they should have done is remove marauding armies entirely from that. Maybe you could find infestations, but the infestations weren't active instead of finding an active marauding army, and that way, there would be a problem, but you have some time to react to that problem instead of immediately losing your stuff. Finding resource nodes and magic materials is great, though. This means you're going to actually be able to develop some of these underground diggable areas in a way that you wouldn't otherwise. I think it's probably too slow to matter, but it's still a cool feature if they ever get around to balancing the game. Dismantle city ruins. I haven't had this be a problem one way or the other, but it's probably good to be able to remove those. Sure, I'm fine with that. Hopefully it's not super expensive to do so. 3-turn world map operation. Does it cost resources? I don't know. Quality of life improvements. You now have the ability to disable the combat action camera. Cool. Status effects are now displayed on the unit abilities panel. Hey, that's a nice quality of life improvement. I'll have to see what that actually looks like implemented, but it would be really nice if they've done that well. You can see the number, stacks, and duration. Include tooltips. You don't have to enter the unit panel anymore to determine what an effect does. That is so nice. So nice if that's true. The show location button should now indicate way better where the corresponding event location resides. This is helpful. Previously, you would get at the beginning of the turn, you'd be locked into a screen that tells you about the event and gives you the options to interact with that event, like basically take it, ignore it, or pay some penalty kind of deal, right? But you'd never have any sense of where it was unless you perfectly memorize the map. And since it's on turn transition, oftentimes you have no idea, right? You have no idea where that is. Here, because you couldn't move around the map and look, this is going to be much nicer if I'm actually able to look at that. That's nice, good quality of life. Observe node has a new setting, enemies only. Okay. That's kind of nice too. Still get to track the important stuff without a lot of other garbage showing up. Great. All right. General changes. Added social media buttons to main and pause menu. Okay. I have no idea why we would want this, but sure. The difficulty setting of the initiation realm is now locked to easy. Okay. The manufactured war achievement now triggers when starting any war of moderate justification or higher. When reached using fabricated grievances. Okay, so these were entirely useless. Let's take a look at the combat. Should be important. Units' critical hit chance can no longer be higher than their chance to hit. This is good. This was a way of cheating hits. I'm happy to see that. It's a weird bug, but it's happened in so many games across the course of my gaming career. It's not surprising at all to see it again. Most tactical combat summons now have a limited number of turns to live. Well, summons were insanely overpowered. So let's see what they've done here. Signature skills. Okay, all of the summons are down to 3 turns. Is that all they've done? 3 turns, 3 turns, 3 turns, 4 turns, 3 turns, 3 turns, 3 turns, 3 turns. Yes, so they've changed all summons except for one summon. And that one summon is the wild speaker, who gets 4 turns. Everybody else gets 3 turns. It's kind of weird, but whatever. And they've changed pretty much every summoning unit, and then they've changed summon items that you find. Okay, here's the problem with summons. Summons are a way to immediately take on stronger camps without having to resort to training or actual units. And the problem is heroes are more mobile. Heroes are where all the experience really matters, and there are too many ways to generate free units, especially free disposable units that allow the heroes to just go nuts with creeping with no real limitations on what they can engage. This doesn't fix that. Combat fights are not often super long. Oftentimes the fight is decided within these first 3 turns. It's going to be a little bit more annoying because often what you wanted to do is spend your first turn summoning, and then because it's a full turn action for the hero, and then do other things. But I don't think this really changes much about summons. Most of the fights that I'm taking, especially like creeping fights, are 3 to 5 turns maybe. So now you're just a little bit more aggressive with your summons and get them killed off around turn 3. You still get the free HP. The HP is still available every single fight. This is just the way that you don't take army damage over time as you continue to creep things. I don't get this change. It seems to miss the problem with summons. Maybe I'm underestimating how limiting 3 turns will be, but 3 turns really sounds it feels fine. Like maybe you now spend a turn moving your hero closer to where you want the fight, and then you summon the turn after, maybe, but more likely you're still just fine summoning turn 1, and then you just aggressively throw the summons in for the first 2 turns, and then you win the fight with taking 0 damage on your actual units, and all the same problems with summons are still there. I think this change misses the point to me. All right, moving on. Cultures. The Barbarian, the War Shaman has been changed from a single action to a full action. I don't remember the War Shaman Invigorate being a problem, but okay. They want to nerf it, sure. Furies, granted Frenzy, base damage reduction from 12 to 10. So this is the Archer. Gained Frenzy is pretty big. This is every time they attack, they get 1 stack of strength, and they're a triple attacking unit. And base damage reduced from 12 to 10. So once they fire once, they get all the damage they lost. That's not true. Fire twice, they get all the damage they lost back. I think this is a slight nerf to Furies. I just think the edge cases, like your Furies are able to fire multiple times and not be bothered. They're going to get stronger doing that. That doesn't happen a lot though, right? They're an archer unit. People are going to lock them in melee and then kill them. Maybe you get this versus the AI. It's a small change. It's kind of fun. It's kind of thematic. I don't think it really matters that much. All right, moving on. Dark. This is the faction. They had a unique building. This looks like there's a change to the unique building, and it changed it from -5, 10, 2 to +10, 5, 2. So same amount of knowledge per unit. Keeping heroes in prison is a super inefficient use of heroes. They're almost always better to be sold for all their items or recruited if they're really good. So this building is not very good just in general, but looking at this, they nerfed the upfront portion of the knowledge. So you have to have more heroes to make it equal, but it gave it some stability. Maybe this, I can't remember if this is available at tier 1 or tier 2. Maybe the stability is good enough that that you don't really care about the knowledge nerf, because on the this stuff looks worse here, but the fact that it's positive stability now, maybe that's good enough. You can do this maybe instead of building a tavern and still get the stability you need with a little bit of upside. I kind of like it. It's not bad. All right, Ritual Mausoleum income change from -5, 10, 2 to 25, 2. Yeah, same deal. I don't remember the exact production cost of these buildings. If they're not too expensive and this could replace having to build taverns or something like that, this is a pretty decent change. I don't think Dark is super weak, but I don't think they're super strong either, so a little bit of a buff to that. That's fine. Feudal, the Bannerman's Soothing Standard increased cooldown from 3 to 4 turns. That's maybe a little impactful, but not super impactful for the same reason the summon thing isn't super impactful. The 3 turns is a lot in terms of combat time, especially when you're creeping. Having 1 heal per fight instead of probably 1 heal per fight probably doesn't change much. It's a little bit of a nerf longer. I'm not sure if Feudal needed a nerf. Feudal is another fine faction, but I don't think they're as strong as, for example, High. So that's okay. Diplomacy. AI players will no longer allow the player to surrender as a vassal to them if it means that either the player or the AI will have an alliance with living players. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I think this was the way that I farmed all of the unlocks for faction unlocks. I think it's an exploit, and I don't think it really changes anything that they've changed it. It's probably good they have, but not very impactful. Okay. AI players will no longer surrender as a vassal to a player if they're thrown. Oh, no, I'm reading the other way around. No, I'm not. Okay, allow the player, yeah. All AI players no longer will surrender as a vassal to a player if their throne city is under siege. Instead, this now reduces the army power requirement drastically, so sieging will still affect any any diplomacy interaction right now with the AI is entirely irrelevant because of how bad the AI is. Like, it doesn't matter. This might be these changes might be impactful if there was a working diplomacy system, because there was an AI opponent that required you do diplomacy with them to win, but there isn't, so it doesn't matter. Added relationship breakpoint support to the relationship value shown in the first meet message. Okay. Added new into the void first meeting depending on whether the player. Okay. First meet friendly and hostile disabled. When words declared, the opposing player is now shown in the center of the screen, similar to the first meet. That's good. Anything that makes clarity in these interactions is helpful. Added a goodbye button to several states during trading to allow you to exit out of trading screen. Okay. To several states during trading to allow you to exit out of trading. Now, this is super nice, because this is one of my big complaints is every time you are forced to do any sort of quest or trade interaction, you lose access to all the resources of your empire. So you can't see what you're fucking with every time you're trying to make decisions about what you're giving away or taking. Anyway, so this is nice. I like that. Added tooltips to mentions of third players in the information section of the diplomacy screen. Another player was announced, and now allow you to inspect that player when hovering over their name. That's good. This is more information flow. Armies now removed from outpost districts and wars declared even if the outposts are already occupied. Good. Fabricated grievances now always worth 20 instead of getting a random value. I didn't know they got a random value. Happy to see randomness removed from that. Maybe that's what was happening. I thought it was the grievance got stronger across the course of the game, because you can only fabricate one grievance versus an opponent. And I've had a game where I fabricated a grievance, didn't declare war, and then my opponent fabricated a grievance, but his grievance was worth more, so he retained the ability to declare war on me, and I couldn't declare war on him, and it was really, really obnoxious. So I'm happy to see that be equal. And a max limit to how far trade costs of a single item. Max limit to how far trade costs of single trade items can stray from their original value in AI trades. This is probably to stop you from selling things super expensively to the AI just because you have high relations. I'm indifferent to that change. It's probably good, but it probably doesn't matter. Increases the lower limit of how far trade discounts can change the trade value of a single item. Okay, so they just made it so the AI is going to be a little bit better about keeping the value of their items even when they really like you. Update the value of equipment trades to make the value based on the actual sell cost of the item. The teleport and province claim packs are now part of the vassalage deal. Okay, treaty broken and treaty created. Relationship modifiers now have a turn timer. Okay, Now exposing the exact alignment penalty for breaking treaties. Good. No longer showing the declaration countered notification when war is declared. Good. Remove incorrect mention of an alignment penalty when trespassing. Okay, some bug fixes in here, some clarity stuff. That's all good. It's pretty minor stuff, but it's pretty good. It's in the right direction. The affinity and Empyrean cost of T1 to T4 Empire development skills has been adjusted. Dipping into affinities was a little easier and cheaper than intended. This should ensure the need to prioritize their affinities intently to perfect multi-affinity builds. I like their affinity system. I'm not sure it's flexible enough to, well, I guess let me read the changes. This is their intention. I'm not sure what I think of that intention, but I want to see what the actual numbers come out to be. Tier 1, 2, and 3 Empire skills increased Imperium cost by 50 Imperium. That's a lot early. T4 increased Imperium cost. T4, what's that? T4 Empire skills, a small increase. T1, 2, and 3, a big increase. I think they went 50, 75, 100. So now they're going to go 125. 100, 125, 150. That's a really big Imperium increase cost. You're going to have to be much more choosy about those. T1 Empire increased accumulated affinity threshold. What is an accumulated affinity threshold? I don't even know what that is. Accumulated affinity threshold. I don't know what that means. I need to see that in game. It's interesting. It looks like there's going to try to be some sort of benefit for specializing, but I don't see clearly how that works yet. Anyway, general basic seafaring increased Imperium cost from 50 to 100. Yes, because this was a huge problem. Everyone was just smashing that basic seafaring button and then crushing you, right? Like this. I think this is an Imperium that I have never had a reason to take. I did naval warfare exactly once, realized it was absolute garbage, and then the map generator really doesn't help whatsoever with trying to build a map, and it's much worse when you're trying to add water to it for any sort of player interaction. So that's useless. Excavation increased. Well, hopefully those excavation boosts that they did earlier were good enough, because I never take this skill already because it's a scam, and now it's a more expensive scam. Okay. But why is it telling me these? Aren't these T1, 2, 3, and 4 Empire skills? Why are they individually? Are they stacking? So I think excavation is a level 2, and I think basic seafaring is a level 1 Empire skill, right? Tier 1, tier 2. Does that mean this has been double nerfed? Or is it giving me the example of that here? I think it might give me the example for each of the subtypes. Okay, so I don't think it's double nerfed, but it's still really bad. Road building is a good one, but it's more expensive. Diplomatic focus is a good one. It's more expensive. Advanced scrying I don't think really mattered. Force march is I haven't got a lot of use out of this ability yet. It comes online a little bit late for me. Now it's more expensive. Yeah, this is just the implementation of these. But I don't know why not all of them. Is it maybe they've done this? Maybe this is all of them, or maybe this is some limited subset and they're individually addressing each of them. All right. Casting reserves. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Is casting reserves the strongest one? No, but it's been moved from T1 to... Wait, no. All right. Okay, casting reserves, which wasn't super overpowered, although I think their intended design decision around casting points was that they're much lower than is currently in the game. And this reflects that. They did move it from a tier 1 ability to a tier 3 ability, so it goes from the first position to the third position on the tree. Adaptive research, which is probably one of the stronger ones, got made available sooner. This is a tech accelerant. So I don't know why that's been moved closer. That one's more powerful than casting reserves and is now in a closer position instead of a further position. Astral inspiration moved from tier 2 to tier 4. Okay. Surge spellcasting moved from tier 6 to tier 1. Focus studies. All right, I'll probably have to do a review of the Materium tree directly, because all of these are going to be in relationship to each other, and I want to see the new tree, and I want to understand the new affinity. I think this is just an increased cost almost across the board. So as a whole, you're going to get less of these. They're going to move the order around slightly. I'm not super thrilled with the balance I see in the early ones there, but I don't know the late stage Materium tree by heart, so I don't know their names exactly. All right, Impressment got nerfed. The Chaos tree was the worst affinity tree by a mile, so let's see what they did. They nerfed the reduced upkeep. They nerfed the free units. They weren't even good free units. Skilled Raiders. They nerfed pillaging and tireless marchers. They nerfed force march. So that's 4 nerfs to the worst tree. Okay. And then a nerf to the trees as a whole. All right. I can't imagine I'll ever pick a Chaos Materium ever again. All right. Imperium, whatever the hell it's called. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. All right. So this is the orange one, Materium. What have they done? Change Palisade walls unlocked to work camp. That's a huge buff to that. That means that when you found the outpost, you immediately get the second tile captured. And outposts are already pretty strong in my opinion, so this is going to make those much better. And the outpost cost reduction reduced from 50% to 25%. So it's going to be a total cost then of 75 as opposed to 50. Okay, that's fine. That's still a big increase for that skill, and that was a tier 1 skill. It's a good skill. All right, Metropolitan Society. This was the one I believe. I think this is the one that shares, like makes your throne city and attached cities do better, and now it's been nerfed. Arcane Artisans moved to tier 3. That's cool. Grants plus 10 mana for mines. Mines are not a very desirable building, really, or a desirable province improvement. So you might not get a lot of value out of it, but it's nice now that there's some interesting interaction with that. I don't know if that's going to see much play, but maybe. Consolidated Industry moved from tier 2 to tier 6. I think this is the one that gives you stability for adjacent provinces, and I'm pretty sure that's entirely useless. Master Masons move from tier 6 to tier 2. Okay. I'm just going to have to do a review of the whole new tree because there's too many specifics here and they relate to each other and I don't have perfect knowledge. So I think we're just going to skip these. By and large, this is interesting that they rebalance this. I'm a little worried that I don't see the right direction in some of these balances. And I'm curious about the impact of making everything more expensive. Is it going to be better for the game? Probably, because you're going to get less total bonuses. And one of the problems right now is the compression of the game by how many bonuses you can stack. But I'll look at those. I'll review those in a separate video. All right, factions. Change the society trait bonuses that give +1 rank to all units of specific unit roles to only give the bonus to all racial units of specific unit roles. Why? I mean, I guess this is a nerf to the tome units. No, it's not though. The tome units are fine. This is a nerf to summons, I guess, which is fine. Summons need a nerf, so maybe that's good. Is this, yeah, so when you recruit units that are not of your society, which are basically summons and units from neutrals, they're going to not get the bonuses. I don't really want to nerf neutral recruitment. Neutral recruitment is already a little weak, but I do want to nerf summon, so I'll take that on as a whole. I'll take that combination. Decrease the HP bonus from the exotic mount traits from 10 to 5. I don't think that was anything. Any of the problems with exotic mounts, I don't think was their HP increase. Actually, I think this is a little bit boring because it makes some of the interesting things you could do with exotic mounts, like higher HP archers on like barbarians, be less powerful. It's whatever. Wonder Architect Society trait now uses the correct icon. Rename Shadow Walkers to Devious Watchers. Change I don't know what this is. Melanist to the Wizard King. I don't know what that last one is, but the rest of those don't matter. These just don't do anything. So, okay. Slight nerf to summons. We need that. That's good. Heroes. Mortal Champions and Wizard Kings now get their signature skills at 4, 8, 12, 16 from 5. Wow. Why? Heroes level so fast. Your rulers in generation of those resources used for these trees are also based on their signature skills. So you're going to get signature skills faster, and you're going to get more of them. Unless they nerfed hero experience somewhere too. I don't hate it, but I don't understand it. Those are also your summon skills, which are already overpowered, which you're going to get earlier, which is going to snowball your heroes faster. Doesn't seem like a good change to me. I guess we'll see. Racial heroes now get their cultural hero skill by default. That's good. If you notice it, that's actually super good. That's really interesting. That's a huge change, actually. Especially for Industrious, who have a very, very powerful one, in my opinion, that you had to go down a pretty long line to get. It was an expert skill, and you now get it at default. That's super cool, actually. I really like that. That gives a little bit more character to the societies. I think not the society, the factions. I think the factions were a little bit, the total impact of what you created was much more defined by the other things you chose. The only thing you were really getting was some set of bonuses that you may or may not engage with by and large. So I think this is nice to see this, right? This is going to give a little bit more definition to the core faction that you've chosen. I really like that. That's a cool change. If you load a save with such a hero has wasted a skill point, if you load a save where such a hero has wasted a skill point, buying such a skill will be refunded. Nice. Dragon Lords and Wizard Kings still need to buy the skills. Oh, is that a Warlord only? What the hell is a Dragon Lord? Is a Dragon Lord the new Warlord? I don't know if that is a nerf to Wizard Kings or just a nerf to the primary hero. I get that it's saying every hero that you recruit from your race will get the cultural hero skill, which is great. But it's weird that Wizard Kings don't, unless that's intended to try to balance how powerful the Wizard King casting point skill is. Hero skill Spirit Action no longer works on heroes. Okay, that makes that skill useless. This was refund still full action points to a unit. It was super powerful, but it's going to be so much worse if it can't be done to a hero. Hero item Spider Matriarch Leg now grants tier 4 spiders. Now only grants tier 4 spiders. Tier 4 spiders are pretty powerful. I don't remember this exact item. I thought it summoned a tier 3 personally, but apparently now it's all tier 4s. Okay. Pantheon leaders recruited as heroes in other games can no longer be animated. Okay, I don't know what that means. Interface. The game now prioritizes certain fonts depending on the set language. Okay. Buttons for cycling through cities are now in a fixed position is nice. Added duration pins for operations on the world map. Don't know what that means. Added notifications to tell players when their provinces are being pillaged is good. Remind players that one of their heroes has a signature skill available is a nice pop-up to have. You do sometimes forget that. You see your level up, assign it, and then forget. Advanced setup is no longer possible. In advanced setup, it is no longer possible to disable teams for 1v1 games. Good, because you want to start. That was a huge annoyance when you didn't do that. Anyways, all right, multiplayer. This is a big list of changes. Fantastic. Add indicator whether queuing in order failed during sim. Okay, good. Added DLC and mod modification. Good. Updated the mod conflicted window. Good. Updated the multiplayer lobby to fix AI ruler selection. Good. Improvements in out of sync fixes. Issues with player kicking. Bunch of crashes, hangs, and out of sync. This is mostly going to be for simultaneous play then, because these things were not something that happened in turn-based. So when you pass them in play by email, when you pass the save file. So this is instead going to be stuff that makes it more stable to play multiplayer. That's good, but it needs a bunch of balance adjustments because the game's not playable in multiplayer, not because of stability, which isn't great in simultaneous, but because of the overall balance state of the game. So, all right, onboarding. Ensure the free city available for negotiation if I've not. Okay. I don't know what that did. Oh, here's the tone balance changes. Sick. All right, amplified arrows no longer allows units to keep firing after the first shot. Amplified arrows no longer allows units to keep firing after the first shot. Kill the initial target. So this is the one that spreads riders around. Okay, it's a slight nerf. Good. Astral is super strong. So let's see. Mirror Veil is now no permanent. Maximize magic change from 100% critical chance to 40% crit chance and 20% hit crit. Okay. These are all good. Slight nerfs. Chaos. The Horde Tome. Houndmaster got a nerf. And the Warhound got a nerf. Okay. Fan the Inferno now is a battlefield-wide spell dealing 5 damage, applies burning. It's interesting. Chaos Channeling got interesting. Horde got a slight nerf. Okay. Crucible, Lava Burst. I don't know what Lava Burst is. Some spell I've never used. Roots, Living Vines from the Vine Prison and Vine Fortress can no longer get unit enchantments, have their AI target party greatly reduced. That's a big one here because basically you spammed Roots and Vine Prisons and the AI just only attacked those and wasted all their actions. So it's a big change there. Least Skin Transformation grabs +1 resistance in addition to its other effects. That's nice. It's a small increase, but it's good. Zealots were nerfed. I don't remember Zealots being too strong, but sure. Rebalance of the Souls economy. The following changes should result in a higher general soul income, the possibility to gain even more souls when investing in it. Okay. I think souls were fine before, so I guess it's fine to see them a little bit buffed. Some changes to, there it is. There's what I wanted to see. Soul Overflow, max HP buff no longer stacks with his stealth. Thank God for that. Rest of these are just slight tweaks of the cost, all in the right direction. If I had to say. I mean, this was the reason to take this the area, so getting the other ones buffed is fine. Necromancer buff. Corrupt Soul is now undead. Okay, these are fine. These are slight changes to Shadow, not big. All right, these units out of Juggernaut can destroy non-fortified obstacles by walking. A bunch of new stuff they've added. Caustic Worm isn't new. A bunch of the bottom ones here. I don't think this ability really matters at all. It's maybe cool thematically, but it doesn't do anything in the game. So, Giants get unstoppable. Juggernaut can destroy non-fortified. Sure. Ghost Ship is now ethereal and undead. Sure. The following units are now permanently mounted. Why? Mystic Spellbreaker is getting mounted. Is a little bit interesting, I suppose, but the rest of them really doesn't matter. Following units are now mounted if you have an exotic mount. Barb Warrior, Dark Pursuer. This is interesting. So they made mounts better. That's why they probably nerfed the HP gain earlier, because there's a lot more units affected by mounts. Kind of interesting, honestly. Maybe some of these tier 1 and tier... I like that they've done these for lower tier units, so maybe you see it earlier. Maybe some of the tier 1 and tier 2 units get better when they're mounted. Certainly they're better at creeping because they're much faster, but they might actually be better in the game too. That's kind of interesting. Added a new optional cav tag. Cool. Nightmare, okay, a bunch of little buffs to the Nightmare. What have they done on the world map? Building victory structures will explore the location of the structure of all players instead of giving vision. Okay, outside outpost teleporter upgrade logic has changed. You now choose the teleporter improvement while next in province using the outpost work camp. That's nice. This was something we encountered in one of our playthroughs, just how the teleporter looks and interacts with the outpost. Okay. If you pillage a province or free city, they'll now wait a turn before rebuilding it. Change text of existing ancient wonders fit in. Okay. Modding changes, fixes. God, this was a bigger patch than I was expecting. Okay, let's take a look at these fixes. So, general fixes. Solar and the start of a new realm have been decreased in severity by fixing bottleneck with updating domain borders. Okay. Multiple crash fixes. Okay. Shadows. I'm not going to read all these individually. I'm looking for the big ones that pop out. Didn't see any. Fix a mitigation for a crash that can occur in closing and opening tooltips. I wonder if that includes the combat log crash, because that was the one I find most offensive. That when I'm in the middle of a huge battle with another player, I'm trying to figure out what the hell just happened with a certain spell or attack interaction, and I open my combat log and it crashes the entire game. So, don't see the one I was looking for there. All right. AI fixes. All right, this fingers crossed. These are going to be amazing. Let's see. It's not a lot of them. Fixed issues where vassals that were player cities would not send attack armies or spawn patrolling stacks. No one cares about city-state attack armies or patrolling stacks, so I guess it's a slight improvement because no patrolling stacks was really annoying. Once you vassalized, opponents could just pillage the vassals' lands and the vassals wouldn't move their armies to protect their own land, so I guess that's a good change. Fixed issues where AI would get racial transformations when not allowed to. Okay. Fixed issue where campaign-specific personality traits could get automatically assigned to rulers. Okay, it doesn't matter. Fixed issue where free cities would still think they are at war while they'd lost their capital. I haven't had that have a free city have more than one city before, so that's never occurred to me. Fixed issue where free cities would not defend their domain. That's good. Fixed an issue in the AI missions keeping them from pillaging. Okay, so very, very small AI changes, not related to most of the things we care about. It's good to get any fixes in the game when you can, but it would have been nice to see the priority be a better AI. Fixed crash for the AI not properly storing and validating the recruit unit from Rally of Liege's mission. Who cares? Fix issue where equipment items can be added multiple times to say trade in human versus human trading. I didn't notice that before. Fix an issue where the 5-turn delay for declaring war on a free city would not be applied when vassalizing a city having a vassal city. I don't know what that's referring to. Anything where you lose Whispering Stones being fixed is good, but the bulk of these don't seem very relatable to me. Like, I haven't experienced most of these issues, and when I can imagine them, I imagine them as very minor. All right. Let's take a look at events. This is a series of small improvements to the quest system. I think there's big problems with the quest system. I've already mentioned them earlier in this video as well as the review video. Any small changes are good, but I don't see major ones here. All right, faction creation. Form traits should now have the correct values in game. Yeah, that was annoying when the tooltip on the creation screen was different than the tooltip in game. Fixed ruthless raiders correctly rewarding hero kills, ritual cannibals. Okay. These are some of the lesser played factions that are generating a resource on kill. I guess it was bugged with heroes in some way. Fix edited heroes not saving their data due to requesting the same already used file name. Fix an issue with the custom titles or change pronouns would reset as soon as you went into the game. Okay, so none of these really mattered. These were just some slight cleaning up of incorrect tooltips and some bugs. Fixed heroes no longer give their intended reward per level, but just once per all unit kill reward effects. That's probably good. It was too strong, so not sad to see the value for these two swinging killing enemy heroes. So it'd be good to see that get a little bit nerfed. Fix issue, this was a huge one. Fix hero count not updating when a hero gets captured in a battle was super obnoxious. So you could be locked at having more heroes than you actually had access to when you lost fights. Fix an issue with recruited heroes who originate from ancient wonders will not get XP or level up. I thought that was intended. I had this happen in a game. Cleared a T3 wonder, got offered a hero from it as one of the rewards, took that hero, and that hero stayed at level 1 for the rest of the game. Pissed me off immensely. So it's a nice change, but again, pretty minor. You don't do that very often. Fix the order in which, okay, bunch of small fixes here. Fix an issue where the relation arrows to be shown on the ruler shields. This is all fine. But small stuff, right? This is a long list of small bug fixes. Pantheon and meta system. What is that? That's their unlocks, right? Okay. Fix trash. Fix crash and city targeting spells when a city is owned by marauders. More bug fixes. More bug fixes. World map generation fixes are good for us. Anything interesting come out of this? No. Okay. These magic victory spells losing their effect when reloading the game. Like, that's a pretty impactful one. That's the #1 way to win. Okay. Small changes in the right direction mostly. I was really hoping for a bit more. A large number of bug fixes that I'm not reading through is overall good. No complaints there whatsoever. I'm going to do a separate video on the review of the Empire development skills, which are interesting to me. But by and large, it didn't look exceptionally great from the ordering. It's kind of random, honestly, compared to my experience with the game for what was too strong and what was too weak. And otherwise, I think the combat nerf, I will hold off final evaluation until the combat summon nerf until I have played it. But my suspicion is it's not enough of a nerf because it misses kind of the problem of summons, which is their free HP generation for every single fight from a source that's super mobile and can always cast it at no cost to you. It doesn't cost you mana to cast combat summons that are hero abilities. But a lot of fixes, a lot of small quality of life stuff, a lot of bug fixes, not all of them major bugs, but a lot of bugs nevertheless squashed, and then kind of limited balance changing. It's a step in the right direction, but not a super exciting set of changes for me overall. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed the review. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to keep doing these types of things. I like to keep up to date with the games I'm interested in. I'm not playing this game very much right now because it's not playable, but I'm really interested in where it goes. I want to play it again. Anyways, thanks for watching.